All right.
All right.
We are recording.
Ooh.
Take 1003.
Maybe this one will be the one.
I don't know. If you're listening to this, you're a lucky duck because we've done this many times.
At this point, we just have like weekly Zoom calls, basically.
Yeah. Where we pretend to talk about stuff with other people and then we never post it to the internet.
Yeah.
We've tried to do this a few times, you guys.
We've had some technical difficulties, okay?
Yeah. It's fine. Here we are. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
You're on the podcast. You're listening to Thanks We Hate It. And I am Hannah Lehman.
And I am Mickey Atkins.
And this is our first episode. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing okay. I went and I got a facial today. I know. It was wonderful. My face is a little sticky, which is always a bit of a sensory ick for me. But I'm going to power through. I'm going to be just fine. So otherwise, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I've never had a facial before, but I really want to get one.
Really? You should get one.
I've heard that once. Yeah, because I've heard once you start, you have to get them monthly. You don't have to do anything, but you want to get them monthly. So
ideally, yeah.
Do you want to guess what the temperature is here in Seattle?
Okay, so you told me the other day that it finally reached 60 degrees at one point, and you were very excited about that. So I'm going to guess that today it's like 55.
It is. Can you see that? 76 today.
Wow. That's really good. Are we happy about that?
Super sunny. Yeah. Except like I said, my dog got too hot when we were on a walk and we took a very short walk. I don't take her on long walks. It was literally like it was like a slightly extended potty break and she got, and she still got too hot, but
poor Winnie. Okay. Do you want to guess what temperature it is here?
92.
You little cheat.
I didn't cheat. Is that what it was?
You looked it up before this.
No, I didn't.
Tell the truth.
No, I am telling you the truth. I would never lie to you.
It's 92 degrees. That's
Wait, is it actually 92?
Yes. I thought you were fucking memeing.
No, the coincidence. I swear to God.
What?
I would tell you if I was lying.
Oh my God.
Well, you did tell me it was like almost in the 90s the other day. So that was, so it was, I had a 1 in 10 chance of it being.
That's fair. It's quite hot here. So.
Yeah, but you have air conditioning in your house, right? I don't have air conditioning.
Sure do.
I'm just chilling in the warmth. So
that's wild to me. Well, I'm fine with that.
Fine. Well, it's only 76, so it's like cold here compared to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's very, very warm, and everybody's going to be out this weekend, I'm sure. Do you have any exciting plans for this weekend? What are you doing?
No, because I hate crowds. Initially, we talked about doing a lake day because I love going to the lake and renting a boat. And you just like float around and you listen to music and you like maybe drink a White Claw or two and just like in and out of the water. It's my favorite. But you know what I hate is loud noises and crowds and children crying. Like all respect and love to people who are parents. Like I respect it and I get it. But like for me, it's a sensory issue. The like screaming and the yelling. It's just like all too much. So I'm going to hide in my house and honestly probably just work on my backyard because I'm trying to make my backyard more fun to be in.
Ooh, your dogs will like that.
They will. Yes, that's also the reason we want to do it.
Aww.
Little beebs.
That sounds fun.
Do you have any exciting plans?
No, we're, I mean, other than the fact that it's going to be sunny. So my biggest goal is to clean my car and maybe
I respect that.
Get a little work done. On Sunday, my mom and I are bringing their dog and my dog down to our friend's house, like 40 minutes away she's going to watch them for a couple hours because she's going to be babysitting them for a few nights in June while my whole family goes to a wedding. And Winnie hates her partner. Like, it's
why?
It's rough because when we're down there, like she loves my friend Teresa, because she's known her since she was a puppy. But Teresa started is now partners with this guy several years after when he met her. And so when we go down for like movie nights and stuff at her house, literally he'll come home from work at like 10 o'clock and it feels like an intruder to her. Like it feels like somebody's just randomly breaking in, and like so she just barks at him. It's really sad, and I feel really bad for him. So what we're doing, so we're trying to desensitize her to him a little bit. So we're gonna like, because I'm really worried about her staying the night. I just feel like she's gonna be really obnoxious, and so
that's fair.
We're gonna drop them off and leave and pretend like we're leaving them there so that she can like spend some time with him and like get used to him a little bit, and he can give her some treats and everything, so he's not such a stranger. And then also my mom wants their golden retriever dog puppy, I mean he's a year old, but to like visit once beforehand too, because she's a helicopter dog mom. And and even though he's a golden retriever, so he literally can adapt to any situation and does not give a fuck about what's going on. He's literally like, for him. Sure, this is happening now, whatever, I love this. So there's cute. Dogs. He's not gonna care. So anyway, that's our big plans. But my mom and I might go get a cup of tea or go shopping or something like that.
Cute. I love that for you.
Know. Okay, let's get into the show.
Yeah, let's talk about some stuff.
I could literally talk to you about mundane things that you're doing this weekend, like for an hour. If I don't cut myself off. Okay, so I'm going to explain to everybody kind of what the format of the podcast is going to be, since this is episode 1. This is Mickey and I are going to tell you guys like what we've been thinking about a lot lately. And we are going to pick a topic each week of something that's been interesting us lately that we have to discuss with somebody, or that we need feedback from other people about. And so each of us will pick a topic, and then we will explain it to the other person and discuss. And then you guys can discuss it with us in the comments and whatnot, if you're watching this on YouTube. So my topic this week is a little spicy. I have to talk about Jaclyn Hill.
Oh no.
I have to talk about her because okay, for those, if you're on YouTube at all, you know who Jaclyn Hill is, so I won't give her whole life story. However, I will say she's a pretty large influencer. She's one of the OG beauty gurus from like the mid 2010s who got really big on YouTube, had always looked at YouTube as like a career path, and made bomb money off of affiliate marketing before influencers were disclosing that they were doing affiliate marketing. So like she wouldn't put the FTC disclaimers in her boxes back in the day and stuff. Yeah. I don't fault her for that, because I think nobody was. I don't think anybody was. I think influencing was so new. But I will say, so I'm going to start this conversation off by saying something controversial, which is I do, at least before this, I've always really liked Jaclyn Hill. I always found her very, very charming, very relatable. She was one of the first YouTubers I like binge watched. And I just, even watching makeup tutorials that I would never do, I still felt like I was chatting with a friend. Like just absolutely, I'm just weirdly charmed by her. I just have always liked her. So I'm extra bummed about everything that is going on right now, honestly. And she bamboozled so much money out of me, though, because I didn't know what an affiliate link was. I didn't know that she was making commissions off the links. I thought that she genuinely was like, if I had known that, I would have probably realized that, like, yeah, she does probably like these products and use them, but probably not quite as life-changing as she was making them out to be. And she was making, like, if you guys don't know how much money influencers make, some influencers with their affiliate marketing, when done correctly, especially beauty influencers, are making tens of thousands of dollars a month sometimes off of affiliate marketing.
Wait, is it really that much?
Oh, yeah. For some. Oh, yeah.
What? Off of affiliate codes?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It varies every month. I'll give you an example. Catherine Manning is a YouTuber who used to do YouTube advice for other aspiring YouTubers. And she used to make videos about how much money she made in every source of income, you know, to help like other YouTubers out to like see how much money you could make off of a certain number of subscribers. Yeah. So mind you, some of her affiliate codes are subscriptions. So she'd get a portion of that every single month that people used her affiliate codes, like TubeBuddy. So like she does make it, but she reported one month, and this is public knowledge, she told us all that she made $13,000 in 1 month off of affiliates alone. And that's before her AdSense and her sponsorships. And that was Catherine Manning, who had way fewer subscribers than Jaclyn freaking Hill, who's peddling makeup, who literally, if you went to some of the links when her video went out, they would be sold out already. Like, it would be off the shelves in the stores, sold out on Amazon and Sephora, because everybody was going to buy products at Jaclyn Hill.
Actually, and I do kind of remember that period of time.
Yeah.
The beauty influencer thing, when it was like larger than life. It was a weird time to be on the internet.
It'll never, honestly, the beauty community, I feel like comes and goes, but the drama will last forever. And the drama will be forever fascinating to me. The tea.
Listen, as a person who loves drama, like, I appreciate that. I really love like tea and gossip. It's just fun to me.
And the beauty community specifically is a very interesting specimen to observe, in my opinion. The culture that has been built out of the beauty community is so interesting. So if that gives you guys any indication of how much she's worth, I mean, she's a multimillionaire. We know that for sure. You could look up her net worth. I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. But like, that was back, you know, making so much money off of just linking stuff. Yeah. So Lipstick Gate happened. And again, many people are probably familiar with that. Are you familiar with that?
No, like sort of, I think so. But can you refresh my memory about this? Because the only thing that I really remember about the lipstick situation is that people were just like upset about their lipsticks, and people were like taking videos of them with microscopes. And I don't remember anything else about it.
Okay, so Lipstick Gate, again, I'm not going to go into major detail here for people, but this is relevant to what we're going to talk about today. So it is important that we are all on the same page about what Lipstick Gate was. Lipstick Gate was when Jaclyn Hill came out with her own line, Jaclyn Cosmetics. Okay. Supposedly her own family-owned business.
Supposedly,
and the lab that she chose for her lipsticks was, I mean, I don't think this is alleged. I think we could full on say that this happened because there is photo evidence of it. And a lot of people, even people in their PR packages, like even other influencers she was sending the product to for free so they could see it, so they could make videos about it, had fur and hair on it. Like people...
Fur?
Dog, yeah. I think people found some animal fur, like tiny fragments, but a lot of it was just like fibers. Like they would just like...
Hold. Yeah. Was it like, like the cat hair that's on my sweater got on this lipstick? Or was it like, this is growing mold that looks like fur? Because you know how sometimes when you get mold on food and stuff and it looks like furry, but it's not like actually hair?
Yeah, no, this that allegedly was them opening the package and finding these right after opening the package.
So no, I don't think it was like people's own cat hair, but like, did it come with actual cat hair or like pet hair, like hair on it, or was it just mold that looked like
that?
I
don't know.
Both of those are fucking bad, though, huh? That's probably a useless.
There shouldn't be. If I buy a lipstick, there shouldn't be anything in my lipstick because I expect it to come from a lab and be sanitized or sanitary and sealed.
That's a good point, Hannah.
There's really right.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Please continue.
So the thing, again, it's always how the influencer reacts, not so much the scandal itself is often it. And she reacted badly. She was gaslighting people and telling them that they were lying. And she, I think people ended up getting refunds, but it wasn't without her, I think, putting up a fight and stuff and like acting like none of this, like telling it, none of this was her fault. It was all her people. It was the lab. people were, what the fuck ever. But in most people's opinions, regardless of whose fault it really is, you're putting your face on that product. You are an influencer. You still need to take responsibility for this happening. So again, I think it was the way she responded was way worse. Yeah. So that was Lipstick Gate in a nutshell, though, is that she made a huge deal about her new line of cosmetics. And they came out and it was a mess. Okay. So now, coming more to more recent times, but still a little bit in the past, there was this creator named Jaclyn who had a YouTube channel who's like, I mean, bigger than me on YouTube, but way smaller than Jaclyn, like still considered a very small influencer. And she had always had this brand called, I think she pronounced it Cozy, but it was spelled Koze. Okay. And she had her own small brand as a smaller influencer that sold blankets and slippers and, you know, cozy things.
Cute. Yeah, cozy things. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jaclyn announces her new brand recently. Oh, no. And she makes a whole video because, you know, the meme with Jaclyn is that she only comes out to make a video when she has to sell us something, right? Like when she has a new product. Like she never comes out other than that. It's like the running joke around Jaclyn Hill.
Okay.
And so she comes out and announces her new brand. Her new brand is called Koze. And it's spelled Koze. And the branding and the font looks very similar. And they're selling the same products.
She didn't even come up with her own products?
So, no, like, I mean, as in, like, it's the same brand. It's like, it's competition products. Like, they're both selling cozy things.
Yeah,
it's not like the exact same product.
Like, add new stuff to, like, make it appear slightly less like she was obviously stealing.
No, like, yeah. Like, I mean, different, like, companies were making the robes, but they were both selling robes. And this creator even reached out to Jaclyn and tried to like say like, hey, I wish you would have come to me first, or just like tried to do it nicely. Of course it did. And then she made a video on her channel, and Jaclyn did, and said, you know, what happened and how, I feel really bad about it. But she said, you know, she did take responsibility for the fact that I learned a really valuable lesson because I didn't trademark Cozy. And I should have trademarked it. And if I had done that, then she couldn't have made her brand.
Oh, okay.
But she was so small that she wasn't thinking that a big creator would swoop in and do that to her.
Yeah.
But she was
to be
wrong.
Clear, like, that's still a dick move. Like, even if she was, like, technically legally in the wrong.
It's legal.
Not, like, in the wrong, but, like,
right.
You know, because she didn't trademark it. Like, that's still a shitty fucking thing to do.
I mean, it's legal for me to call somebody a bitch, but is it nice?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Like, still, and also just like not a good integrity move as a business. Like,
exactly.
Look good.
Exactly.
Oof.
And then it got worse when Jaclyn like started throwing a little shade at Jaclyn, like never addressed it. And instead, like, I'll put the picture up on the podcast because then she like put this other post on Instagram. Okay, so I just looked up and it was Jaclyn Hill posting on Instagram then. She posted on Instagram a tag, her Koze tag, and it has a very clear TM in the corner. And she wrote like coming soon with like the eye thing. Like it was so obviously like shade at Jaclyn, like, sorry, that's what you get for not trademarking your own thing. And I do remember watching in the video, Jaclyn specifically said she had her team. They had been looking for a name for forever, and she had her team like looking all over the internet and making sure things weren't copied. Like she made a big deal about how hard they worked on the name and that just like proved to everybody that she knew. There's no way she did not know about this other influencer's thing. So, and then she shades her afterwards. It was just like very disappointing from somebody who does like Jaclyn Hill.
Yeah. As somebody who knows nothing about her, like this is so gross. Because also too, can we just talk about the fact that you and I spent weeks, like literally weeks, looking through podcast names and like branding, and like there was a couple of podcast names that we were really excited about that had other show, like people had already like claimed the name. It wasn't like trademarked or anything, right? And like their podcast was dead. They hadn't recorded any episodes in like years, and we were like, No, like we can't do that. Like that's fucked up. Like come up with a fucking better idea then, you know? Like I don't relate to that at all. That's just
why
fucked up to me.
Why did it have to be that specific? Like it's just
also, if you like the name Cozy, then just fucking spell it a different way, Jaclyn.
Like, yeah.
That's not
or
that
just
hard.
do anything else. So okay, it's not over. It gets worse.
Oh no.
So now in the more recent months, now she's been accused of copying jewelry from a designer, Lana Jewelry.
Okay.
And granted, Lana Jewelry's, all of her stuff is like super high quality and like $800 for a necklace for her brand. Like very like you buy it, it's an investment. It's a very special piece, right?
Okay.
But Jaclyn, everybody like she came out with this necklace, and Jaclyn has even been shown wearing jewelry from this brand before and has been supporting them. And then she came out and people are comparing this necklace that Jaclyn made and hers, and it looks weirdly similar. I will edit a picture into the podcast so people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And her version's like $78. It's a little cheaper, so it's not as much, but like I think if the Kaylin thing hadn't just happened with Cozy, I don't think I would have thought that she was really copying this brand, but since this is now turning into this pattern, it's like getting weirder, right? So that
feels intentional.
It starts to feel intentional when there's a pattern. Okay, so now let's get into today.
Wait, there's more?
Yes.
I'm sorry. These are exactly the same.
Yeah. They look very, very similar.
They're like a mirror image.
Especially because Jaclyn has worn pieces from Lana Jewelry in the past. Like we know for a fact that she knows about them.
The thing that I don't understand though is that like that jewelry design is like distinct enough that if you saw someone wearing it, you'd be like, oh, is that, you know, and like you were like in the know, you like about the brand and whatever, you'd be like, oh, is that like from Lana Jewelry, right? And like, okay, so Jaclyn really likes it. Like A, approach them and do a collab. B, just do something that's like inspired or like referential of, that's not like just straight up ripping off somebody else's designs. Like this is not difficult, you know?
But I think the pattern with Jaclyn that we're finding is that she does cash grabs, and beyond that she doesn't care.
That's so disappointing.
It's very disappointing. So now the reason we're talking about this at all is because Marlena Stell, who is the CEO and founder of the brand Makeup Geek, which is now going out of business. She has a YouTube channel, but she said she's not posting this on YouTube. She came out of the woodwork and found the Reddit thread, the Reddit board, Jaclyn Hill Snark, and she posted on there and spilled the tea about Jaclyn, because Marlena Stell has known Jaclyn for a long time and says that she's been holding all this in for years about Jaclyn. So do you mind if I read this to you?
Please do.
Do you want to take a little ride with me?
I would love that.
Marlena Stell says, I'm tired of staying quiet, especially after the Kaylin incident. That was the Cozy incident, because that's yet another woman.
Yes, woman.
Because that's yet another woman in a lineup of many who have been done dirty by a manipulative liar. I'm tired of not speaking everything in fear of being called a hater looking for relevancy. But since I closed my brand already, I don't have to worry about being told I'm trying to drum up sales. I've been holding all this in for 7 years. I've forgiven Jaclyn for losing Makeup Geek $1 million, even though it was a shit move and hurt my company horribly. I should have gone. Are you okay?
Yes. $1 million?
Yes. Just wait. I know. I should have gotten the contract signed, but never imagined a quote unquote friend would pull out knowing the inventory was already in-house. Hardest life lesson I've ever learned. I even texted her pictures of all the crates of product sitting in my warehouse. That's why Makeup Geek struggled so much after 2016, was a literal $1 million worth of product was ordered. Retail revenue actually lost was $4.5 million. $1 million was the investment into the actual product ordered. Many quote unquote boring palettes happened after that in an effort to recover costs, as in the nude palette, a bunch of other ones in same packaging, because I had 100,000 units. I ended up tossing thousands of them last year when I announced Makeup Geek's closure. But what hurt even worse than the financial wreckage was her pretending to be a friend only to drop me like a toilet wad as soon as she found someone else to give her what she wanted. Info on how to start a makeup brand. She's talking about Morphe there. Meanwhile, I was thinking it was a true friendship, so I went out of my way to give her secretive info like labs and packaging connections. I even drove her personally to San Francisco from Napa to do an in-person meeting with a vendor to help her with lipsticks. She was Makeup Geek's biggest affiliate, so I could have just not helped her, knowing it was technically competition for another brand. But I know how hard it was starting a brand from scratch with no help. I believed in her and actually did love her like a friend and wanted to see her succeed. She's crazy talented in makeup. Once Jaclyn became friends with Linda from Morphe, not only was I dropped, but she took Linda to every lab I gave her. I put my reputation on the line by asking favors from my vendors to meet with her. The final straw of friendship for me was seeing her at my lab with Linda the same day as me, while she blew me off and stated she was too busy to meet me for even a coffee. She lied, saying she had errands and couldn't meet up. Meanwhile, that afternoon, my team sees her and Linda at my lab while we're there. That was the day I knew who Jaclyn truly was, and I felt stupid and deceived. I messaged Jaclyn months before Lipstick Gate, which we talked about earlier, and told her I was hurt all this time and stated my feelings about the shady business practices of Morphe, lying about the restocking vegan palettes, subpar quality, etc. When I stated it was a shit move to pull out of the collab she had no remorse and said, "What do you want me to do, Marlena?" And yes, I warned her about that lab, the lab that she made the lipsticks in that led to Lipstick Gate. But she did a rush job and went with them anyways. I knew it was a rush job when Lipstick Gate happened because my other vendors who denied the last minute requests from Morphe told me about it. Again, that's why I was vocal about Lipstick Gate, because I knew what happened even as she was lying through her teeth. Fuzzy gloves my ass. Jaclyn once said that the workers at the factory were using fuzzy gloves, and that's how it got
that.
in the lipstick, which is obviously the biggest lie ever. It hasn't been one thing with her, but a repeated series of lies, stepping on other women to serve what she wants, stealing other brands, blaming everyone else for her poor morals, and so much more. I know I've been blunt lately, but honestly, I'm fucking fed up. And no, I won't do a video because her fans are rabid, and I want to keep some semblance of peace after working so hard the last 4 years to get rid of toxic people and things in my life. I should probably not blast her on social even, but the Kaylin instance was so damn shitty that I'm just fed up. So that's why I post here and there, because it's hard to keep quiet when I see so much shit happening to other women too. Stealing Cozy from Kaylin and mocking the trademark was disgusting. Don't get me started on lying about her family-owned business either. Becca CEO, Jen Gerard, myself, Kaylin, and now Lana Jewelry. These are just some of the people wrecked by Jaclyn's selfish and shady moves. There's a common denominator here, and it's not all of us. Thanks for letting me rant. Woo, that felt good to release. And I won't read the comments, but she's getting a lot of positive feedback. I'll just say that. Wow. Lots of positive feedback, lots of awards. And she does post a couple pictures of proof of the boxes and boxes of product that she was supposed to do with Jaclyn.
Wow.
So too long didn't read. Jaclyn promised to do a collab with her because they were friends. they hadn't signed the contract, and they made $1 million worth of product, ordered $1 million worth of product, and then Jaclyn pulled out last minute to go with Morphe, essentially. Allegedly. Protective language here, because according to Marlena. So
wow.
Isn't that so? I'm just so like, it's like one of those things that I can't support her anymore, but I want to like her. Like, I've always like, I just want to like her so bad, because I really have always just really felt like had that parasocial like connection with her, where I really, really liked her content and the way that she was. God. And yeah. What are your thoughts on that Reddit post?
I just, like, part of me is like, okay, but like, did you really need to post all of this publicly? Like, you know, it feels like kind of a lot. Yeah. But also at the same time, like, I'd be so fucking mad. I guess the thing that I'm so confused about is when influencers do this, where like there's an obvious paper trail, or like there's like very obvious and easily attainable receipts for like the way that you burned this person. Like, it just seemed like I could never, like, I mean, obviously I would never do that anyways, because that's fucking rude. But like, generally, just like the hubris of like, I not only am going to do something that's like shitty and I'm going to burn this person, but I'm also going to do it in such a way that like you could call me on it if somebody was like bold enough to publish the receipts. And like, oh, well,
you're talking about Jaclyn crazy. Doing all this stuff in spite of the fact that she's leaving a paper trail.
Yes. Like, just like the hubris that's required to be this shitty to people,
the confidence,
and also to do it in a way that's like so easy for someone to call you onto the carpet is like something that I don't relate to. I'm so confused by that.
I have a theory about Jaclyn Hill, and I have no idea if this is true or not. But my theory is kind of that she stopped caring a long time ago, the first time she got in a controversy. And I couldn't tell you what the first controversy was, because I totally forgot. Smokey Glow goes over it in one of her videos about Jaclyn Hill. Nice. But I think when she got her first bout of so much online hate, I think Jaclyn grew this really thick skin and decided, like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do for me and not think about anything, which I'm not saying is right at all. No. I'm just saying that I think she, like, got really jaded by how much hate she could get at such a young age on the internet, being one of the OG YouTubers. And I think it like transferred in a not healthy way. Like instead of using that to just like ignore true hate comments, she like transferred that to selfishness.
Well, I also wonder too if she just realized how profitable it was to be problematic, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
You get attention by being that way. Like, there are a couple of creators that come to mind who, like, I'm not going to name them, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But like, their whole brand is being problematic and like routinely getting canceled because it gets them clicks and views, you know?
Yeah. And some people don't care if they're the most hated person on the internet. Yeah. Some people simply do not care. And I can't imagine being like that, because I would be crying if this many people were mad at me. Yeah. But the like you said, it's like having that lack of integrity is really mind-blowing to me. Like, literally not caring. So my thoughts on her posting all that, I kind of had that same thought of like why you had to post all this. But I think, again, I think it's this pattern that I think is like, she's felt so powerless this whole time, and she literally couldn't do anything. And I think it's like kind of piling on more proof of Jaclyn's pattern, if that makes sense.
And like, I get it. Like, I think on a human level, I do relate to the frustration of like, I want to say something, but I can't, or like, you know, I feel unable to. Like, that's valid. I get that. It probably sucks to see somebody that treated you like shit make so much fucking money after they burned you, you know? So like, on a human, like, I can humanize that. And I'm not like shading her, to be clear. I just,
I know.
It's a lot. It's just very messy.
And I think because she hadn't, like she said in that post, she hadn't signed the contract yet. Jaclyn, I'm sure, checked with the lawyer and was like, can I do this? And they were like, yeah, you haven't signed the contract. And I think that's the same thing that happened with Kaylin. She went to them. She said, hey, I want this. This person hasn't trademarked it. Can they come sue me if I trademark it then? And they were like, no, they can't. You're in the clear. And I think that is the only thought process she puts into it. If the lawyers say that it's fine, she protects her own ass because she knows if her name's on it, people are going to buy it.
Yeah. God, that's fucked up.
It's so sad. I've been talking for a really long time on mine. That's all I have to say on it. If you have any more thoughts, let me know. But I'm just the disappointment of like, I'm sure deep down Jaclyn is a good person in her personal life. Like I would imagine, because I don't like, we don't like to character assassinate people.
Yes,
but like,
I would like to believe that everybody is at the core a good person,
right?
Like somewhere deep down in there.
Gotten in the habit of doing some really shitty things, and it's just sad.
It's not looking good,
It's not looking good for her. So, well, Mickey, that's it for me. What has been on your mind lately?
Oh boy. Okay, so actually I think this is perfect because I am also talking about something that's like a little bit scammy, a little bit like not an integrity move, and I'm not going to talk about it on my main channel because it's not really relevant to the conversation about like mental health or trauma or like whatever, but it does push my fucking buttons. So I want to talk about it. You know who Girl Defined is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you familiar with like their brand and their videos and like the content that they make, or are you just kind of vaguely aware of them?
I am fairly aware because I've watched all your videos reacting to them. I just didn't know who Bethany was.
Yeah.
I know who they are as a group, but I don't know their individual names. I would explain it maybe just in case people don't know exactly who they are. But,
fair enough.
Yeah.
So Girl Defined is a set of sisters who run what they call a ministry. They are fundamentalist evangelical Christians who take a very legalist approach to the Bible and to Christianity generally. So, for example, Bethany is one of the sisters. She's the younger of the two, I think. She did not have her first kiss until her wedding day. Her and her husband both had their first kisses on their wedding day. And like, she sort of endlessly preached about modesty and God's design for womanhood and all of this stuff. They still do, to be clear, which is why I've talked about them. Name? Kristen.
Bethany and Kristen.
Yes.
I was just going to say, do you want to disclaim that we don't hate religious people? I feel like that's always a good
that's true.
disclaimer. I just want to be clear that we're not talking about all religious people here. We don't give a shit if you're Christian or if you believe in God or not. Like, whatever. Yeah. Do you?
No, I say that in all of my YouTube videos too. I don't give a hoot about what anybody does with their own personal religious beliefs or choices or practices. That's none of my ding-dang business, But like, what we're talking about with Girl Defined is not regular Christianity. We're not talking about people who just like want to be religious and be left alone. These people have like, again, first of all, a very legalist approach to the Bible, but also like actively, regularly, very proudly campaign for like legislation to be passed that's like forcing their religious views onto other people. They've made really hateful claims about, all number of things, but like the reason I talk about them a lot is because they say that, like, for example, mental illness is sinful, that self-esteem, like having high self-esteem is sinful. Just like anything that's fun or good or like part of the fucking human condition, Bethany and Kristen have outwardly, aggressively, and like explicitly labeled it as sinful and a thing that not only should be avoided, but also that us as Bethany and Kristen, we're not afflicted by those things. We're not at all bothered by them. We're better than everybody else.
Just say you hate joy and be done with it.
No, it's so much faster. I said that before.
Yes.
Just say that you want to be miserable and you want all of us to be miserable because you can save so much time. It's sad.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But my favorite thing that's happened.
I'm scared about why we're talking about them. To be clear. I know, but I'm scared of why we're talking about them today because it can't be good.
Oh, no, it's not. It's terrible. So what's happened recently is that word on the street, anyways, I want to be clear. I don't typically participate in like the fundy snark subreddits. I casually observe them every once in a while as research for videos, but I try not to like get involved. But word on the street in the subreddit is that, or like people's suspicion anyways, is that Bethy was not orgasming while having sex with her partner up until recently, because there's been a very sudden and very stark shift in the content that she produces from being about, you know, like this very pious, holy roller kind of attitude about sex, about intimacy, about modesty. And now she's like the sexy Christian lady. She talks endlessly about sex.
What?
Uh-huh. Yes, about God's design for sex within marriage, and about how it's totally good that sex is fun and like women can enjoy sex, guys. Did you know that women can enjoy sex? And it's like, wow, a lot. It feels like one of those moments where somebody discovers something that everybody else has already known. And by trying to like share their passion for it, you're sort of accidentally telling on yourself about the fact that you didn't know about this until recently, you know? People also like say really mean things about her sex life and whatever. And like, I don't want to like character assassinate her like that. But the reason that we're talking about it is because
it's sad,
Bethy,
though. Like,
in part of her rebrand for being like the sexy Christian lady, has decided that she wants to put up a course, like a class kind of, that's called the Ultimate Sex Course for Christian women.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not. She's had sex with one person.
Correct. And also apparently like sex that she didn't realize was not gratifying up until recently. Which is fascinating. But on top of that, Hannah, it gets so much worse.
Oh, fucking Jesus. Okay.
It gets so much worse because like that's part of the reason that I take so much frustration with the content that her and her sister produce, is that they position themselves as experts on these topics that like they have no education, they have no training, they have no life experience, they have no credentials at all to be speaking with such authority about these things, because it's very different. It's very different than getting on the internet and saying, I'm a Christian woman, I live my life by doing these things, right? Or like, I'm a Christian woman, here are some Bible verses that have helped me feel more comfortable with my body, or to enjoy sex more, or, you know, whatever. Like, she's not making like vlog style lifestyle content. She's making prescriptive instructional content about the definitive way that other people should be living their lives, with like fuck all to point to as like credentials for why she's telling people to do this. So this sex course that she's making,
you know, that subreddit, I'm sorry to interrupt you, know that subreddit r/are the straights okay?
Yes, I
am
do.
A straight person and I just have to say no, we're not.
Yes, the relationship norms that people post in that subreddit are haunting, dude.
It's a whole thing. Go on.
It's
just
bad.
To interject that.
But yeah, so this ultimate sex course that she's launching, first of all, feels like a money grab, because she does this a lot where she releases like ebooks, which drives me fucking nuts, by the way. Why can't we just call them PDFs? They're just PDFs. Like, that's fine. If you want to release a $20 PDF, like, and there's good value in it, like, I'm not judging. It's good for the environment, you know, like, release a PDF, but stop calling it an ebook, please.
Stop calling it an ebook, because there's typos in there and we all know it.
Yes. Yeah. That's also a subject of contention, but she does this a lot where she releases ebooks, and she released another course about how to start selling courses for stay-at-home moms. I don't know. It feels like a weird sort of money grab thing. And like, again, out of my curtail, I don't really talk about it on my channel, because like, I don't really care if she's like trying to make a living by being a stay-at-home mom, whatever, like, whatever. But first of all, it feels very scammy, because this is like the 6th time that she's tried to release a course about, I don't know, whatever is her, you know, hyperfixation this week. But on top of that, Hannah, get this. Remember how I said that she doesn't have any credentials. She has no training. She has no certification. There's not even lived experience of like, I counseled young women in their engagements about, you know, how to be sexy, like nothing. Right.
Yeah.
So you might be asking yourself the question, how then would somebody who was a kissless virgin on their wedding day feel empowered and also just simply collect enough material to release a sex course, right? The answer is that she is just using material from other people in her niche who've been talking about this for years. She actually asked these people to host seminars or like little video chats basically in her course, and then she's selling that.
I have so many questions.
Oh, please. Please.
Okay. Other people in her niche as in other Christian fundamentalists,
yes,
or just Christians in general? So like, but specifically the fundies?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Other people who share her worldview, or at least share enough of her worldview that she feels comfortable platforming
right, that
them.
they're correct.
Yes,
yeah.
There's one couple on there, by the way, who are terrible people. By the time this goes up, I should have a video about it on my channel. But they have spoken about their very questionable parenting choices. I'm not going to get into it because it requires Paul and a trigger Morgan? Warning. No, well, they're in it too. But
it's another couple.
Yeah, it's another couple. I'm not going to get into it because it would require a trigger warning for us to discuss it. And like,
okay.
You know. But like all of the people that she's essentially asked to like guest spot in her course are, again, like people who share enough of her worldview that they get along and they feel comfortable platforming each other.
Are Paul and Morgan interviewed for her course?
Yes.
Because they are the self-proclaimed sex experts of the fundy world. They think that they are like, they think that they have all the authority to dole out advice about sex.
Morgan is speaking about maintaining sexual intimacy during infertility.
What? I guess I mean that's fair, but like that is a good thing to talk about in general.
Yeah.
But like from her, I don't know, it's so bizarre to me. Like it's take the fundamentalist Christian out of it. Take anything.
Sure.
Take any topic. Like this is me trying to sell a course on therapy and mental health by interviewing you.
Correct.
And then trying to sell a course about me interviewing you and like writing down all the things in a PDF about what I learned from Mickey and then my own therapist say. And then but the part that she has one sexual partner, I do have a undergrad psychology degree, which means nothing. So there you go. Now I'm going to sell a course on therapy. Like that is literally what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
Does she not realize that there's experts in sex education? There's literal professors that teach psychology of sex and other courses on sex that are actual experts in this?
Probably. But the thing is that she thinks that those are sinful. She thinks that those resources are of the devil. And so she could never learn from them. And she would never encourage other people to learn from evidence-based information about sex because Jesus said not to. I don't know. Like, I don't really understand.
She's not even allowed to apply what advice from people who don't practice exactly what she does. She's not allowed to apply that advice to her own sex life.
Apparently not. And that's the thing too. Like, that's such an important distinction when we have this conversation about just regularly religious people of any like flavor or affiliation and the people like Bethy and Kristen, is that you can be a perfectly devout religious person and also be open to hearing evidence-based information from experts in their field, right? Like Miriam on TikTok is like such a good example of this. Are you on Miriam Talk?
Probably not. I probably don't follow her specifically.
That's fair. I don't remember what her last name is, but her first name is Miriam, and
what kind of content does she make?
She's an Orthodox Jew, and so she just shares about her life. Like, that's literally the opening for her videos. Like, hi, my name's Miriam. I'm an Orthodox Jew, and I share about my life and, like, you know, the things that are important to me. And she talks about her own perspective, her own life, and whatever. But, like, she also is a labor and delivery nurse, and she talks about how there are certain customs in her religion, like, for example, it's not okay or like allowed. I'm not sure what the verbiage is, but like it's not, you know, appropriate in her religion for her to have physical contact with any male person who's not her husband. There's just like rules about it from like a my body is sacred sort of perspective. But when she is at work, she is allowed to have physical contact with anyone for like a reason that's medically necessary. Like she
I was
has
like, why would you need physical
she's like
contact with a male?
received spiritual guidance about how like, yes, Miriam, like this is your job, and like this is not that, like it's not the same as you sharing some kind of like intimate touch with a man who's not your husband.
Right.
Like you're working, it's entirely possible to be a religious person and not have this like very aggressive, like by the letter approach to your religious text, and like they just are committed to that gag.
Right. And it sounds like Miriam too is also just like, I'm just sharing this because it might be interesting for you to learn about another culture, just like we'd learn about other cultures on TikTok. Like, and she's not saying like, you have to do this to become an Orthodox Jew, she's just saying like, hey, did you know like women in hijabs talking about certain practices that they're doing, or like people doing Ramadan and stuff like that. It's like,
wait, do you mean hijab?
Just, oh shit, what did I say?
I think you said hijab.
Hijab? I probably shouldn't say that, should I? That's wrong.
It's okay to mispronounce things.
I know. Okay, I'll leave it in. Wait, can you educate me one more time? What is it? Hijab.
I think it's hijab.
I think you're right. Hijab. That sounds right.
I don't know for certain, though, to be fair.
If anybody who wears one is listening, let us know if we're saying it wrong, because we'd love to
spell
say
it phonetically
correctly.
for us,
yes,
please?
I know. If you don't mind,
But yeah, so that's like, again, just a really important distinction when we talk about this, because I think it's entirely possible for even like really devout Christian people to learn about sex and intimacy and like, how to like spice up your sex life from people who either are Christian or aren't Christian, but like without it being this thing that like we have to be committed to like non-evidence-based information. That's the thing that gets me,
And that's what I'm so confused about. Like, it's like, if you want to wait till marriage to have sex, like go off, do whatever the heck you want. That's that's none of my business, right? But I don't understand the concept of like then not wanting to like use vibrators for yourself, or like just like learning about sexual practices from people that are promiscuous, you know, or like certain things to help improve stuff that just like, I just don't understand. You're not doing that thing. You're not going outside of your marriage. You're not breaking any moral rules for yourself. So why the hell do you care?
But also, Hannah, this is the thing that just like really gets me. This like is what really is so humorous about this whole thing is that these old rules that they would abide by, like for example, Girl Defined as a Unit took a very harsh stance about how masturbation is a bastardization of sex, being the way that God intended it. Like masturbation is, I think they called it like counterfeit intimacy. It's just like not the way that it's, And Kristen made a whole video talking about how masturbation is bad. Don't do it. Masturbation is sinful, whatever.
And then they did it and changed their mind.
Because
I was kidding.
No, I'm so serious. Francie Winslow is like another Christian sex lady who talks about self-cultivation.
Yeah.
And how she enjoys sex so much more if she has time to self-cultivate away from like her husband and kids and whatever, like, like me time essentially, where she just gets in touch with how sensual her body is, and like how beautiful is it that God designed my body to be so sensual. Basically, we're talking about flicking the bean. But they just like don't want to say that. And so now we're sort of like retroactively rewriting what used to be like a hard line in the sand for them and saying, actually, it's fine to masturbate as long as you're doing it to be like more in the mood to have sex with your partner, which is also hilarious to me because
it still has to be in relation to a man.
Yes. Which, like, again, if the like patriarchal underpinnings of their culture were like unlearned, then I think people would probably have an easier time finding sex and intimacy to be a mutually pleasurable thing. But because this like patriarchal, misogynistic view exists in that culture about how like sex is for men, it's about men, and it's particularly about men's pleasure, and women's pleasure gets like left on the table, you know, like it's a lot easier to want to engage in sex and intimacy with a partner who also values your pleasure, you know. Right. But like we don't want to talk about that. We don't have time for that conversation apparently. Right. Bethy just is okay with self-cultivating now.
Probably had to change her own rules because she discovered self-cultivation. Yes. And she was like, I'm different now. My morals are different. Wait, backtrack. Rewind. I was just kidding, you guys.
That's so funny.
Have you tried this? It's amazing. Oh my God.
It really is giving that energy.
It's right. Which is like, I don't want to speculate on people's sex life, whether it's with themselves or without somebody else. Like, yeah. But it's hard not to with her specifically because she's been so hard up all of our butts about our sex lives. Yes. It's she acts like everybody else's sex lives are her business, so it's very hard not to get in her business about it. And it's like, I'm happy for her in a way that she is starting to understand. Yes. Like, I want her to have that, like, have a good sex life too. Yes. But it still has those undertones of like, well, if I need to change it, then my morals are still right and yours are still wrong. As long as I'm changing mine, then you can change yours to fit mine.
And that's the thing that really, really is so frustrating. I think especially for people who have deconstructed from fundamentalism is that it's, first of all, it's the rules for thee and not for me thing. It's fine for her to impose this sense of morality on other people, but then to change her mind about her own life and her own self because she didn't like it. But also because deconstructing and moving away from that legalist perspective is exceedingly common. Lots of people discover in the journey of like wanting to feel better, wanting to feel more satisfied, like with their own lives, but also with their partners and whatever, that maybe I can be a very devout, a very biblical Christian person and also, you know, embrace conventional wisdom about intimacy and relationships, but they weren't having it. They actually had the gall to say out loud about other like progressive Christian influencers, like, you're not real Christians. You're not real Christians. You're not like, you don't belong with us. You can't sit with us because you don't believe my views. But now that it suits them, we're walking all of that back. You know, it's very hypocritical.
Yes. That's gross. That is so the whole like, again, like if people want to be religious, fine, but do not, as long as you are not telling me what to believe, then whatever. But the whole like, there's a certain Christian that's good and other Christians are not good blows my freaking mind. Like, okay, what is a good Christian then? Define it perfectly, because
Bethany and Kristen sure tried.
But they think it's objective and it's not. It's completely subjective to the person. Like some people barely, they never go to church, but they still like believe in God and still believe in an afterlife or whatever. Some people go to church religiously and they drink alcohol, like all these other things that like, and more, you know, in the Mormon church, you don't drink alcohol and like,
or caffeine or like, there's so many things.
You are allowed to drink caffeine in the LDS church, actually.
Oh, you are? Is that different?
It's okay. According to the LDS person that I used to work with, who was like the best part. He was such a nice guy. He was like just the best. We would talk about this a lot because he knew that I was like atheist, and so he was really open to having like open discussions about it with me. So it was really fun. But he told me he had energy drinks like every day. He said it's not the caffeine, it's specifically coffee and certain types of tea, I think, but don't quote me on that. But it's like coffee specifically. It's the product of coffee, not the caffeine in coffee, is what he said. He could only drink herbal tea too, and like not caffeine tea. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting. A very interesting
I didn't know
thing.
That.
But because I did ask him, he drinks so many energy drinks because he couldn't have coffee. So anyway,
but
today I learned. Yep.
Regardless, the point though is that like it's entirely possible to be a religious person without forcing it onto other people.
And not
without,
being a jerk.
Yes. And without committing to this, like, I'm going to be right always, and I will just rewrite my stance if I discover that I'm wrong, instead of just admitting that I was wrong, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to change your mind.
It's exceedingly human.
Like, she doesn't have to backtrack. She could just be like, hey, I changed my mind about this because I did it. And I was like, wow.
I received some wise counsel from Francie.
Exactly.
Which is the other thing that is like so confusing and funny to me about this course, is that not only is it full of like hypocritical takes from her, but also, by my count, there's like almost no original content in it. Like, it's all like video. Did you actually take the course? No. I thought about it. I really did. And I still haven't decided if I want to.
How do you know what's in the course?
Because she posts fucking sneak peeks and trailers and like little snippets and stuff.
Gotcha.
But it's basically made up of like several modules, all of which are being headed by someone else who is basically sharing the same content. At least I'm assuming it's probably the same, if not very similar content to the shit that they share for free on their own podcasts and in their own social media and all of that stuff. But it's just being repackaged and sold by Bethany to the tune of like $150 a pop. Yeah.
Bethany, your behavior is weird.
And also just like, it's like scammy, but it's like not even a good scam.
But it's not even like it's not even a scam that anybody's going to talk about, because not enough people are actually going to get scammed out of money.
I fucking hope not. My God. I'm going to be so sad if she makes a lot of money off of this, because she will be stealing money from like young and impressionable women. And also like practically, I just have so many questions, because again, there's several modules, at least 5, maybe 6, if not like upwards of 8. And all of these, again, are being headed by someone else. So is she paying these people for their time and their expertise? Because like $150 is a lot of money, but not enough to divide up between like 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Right? Like, we're making pennies at that point. And at that point, why are we releasing the course then? You know?
I bet some of them were friends, so they were just willing to be a guest, knowing that she was going to be a course choice, which is whatever. But and I bet some of them, she probably like gives them a fee up front or something, like gives them $100 for an hour or something like that, and then
let's hope so,
makes whatever she makes off of the courses that they're in. I'm guessing.
I'm very interested in the particulars of it.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. It would be funny if it wasn't so harmful to so many people.
Yes. Like, and that's the other thing, is that the advice in this course is going to be ill-informed at best and like downright infactual and abusive at worst. Yeah. And so I just am so sad about the people who are, again, like young and impressionable and vulnerable. Yeah. And are going to get scammed not only out of their money, but also sold this bill of goods that is not true and is potentially so incredibly harmful to their relationships and their mental health, you know?
Right.
It's sad.
I hate it.
Me too. Thanks. We hate it.
We hate it.
Yeah, I think that's all I have about that. I think that's also, we've been talking for a hot minute, so we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we have. We probably should wrap it up. But we could still call this episode Thanks, We Hate Scams.
Yes. Oh,
like we originally planned.
Yeah.
I know. It's perfect. Or shady influencers. I don't know. Something of that effect.
That's fine. I'm fine with calling it scams.
That's a lot more short and sweet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. That's going to be episode 1.
Yay.
I would say give us a few episodes to find our footing and everything, because it'll evolve as we evolve. But this is like our 3rd time recording an episode.
That's true.
Episode 2. So hopefully we'll be a little more evolved now. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leave us a comment to let us know what you think if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll see you all next week.
Yes. And leave us reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you're listening there, because it really does help the show.
Yay. Yes, please do that.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.